Mm. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to the live stream, everybody. Welcome to the live stream. My good name is Homeboy. What was that? That's weird. Ooh, Richard. Good to see you, Richard. Happiest of Wednesdays. Happy Wednesday. Happy Wednesday. Hi, hi. How are you doing? Okay, how are you doing, everybody? Ooh, I don't know. Maybe I should open the window or something. Welcome to the live stream. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for always watching. Thank you for always leaving a comment. You know, we are hanging out right now. I don't know, for some reason I'm always like 20 minutes late. Like right now I'm how many minutes? 25 minutes late. But yeah, I'm trying. I'm cool at work. Started at 8 a.m. It's now 8:25. Oh wow, okay. So that means I'm late because usually when I start streaming, you're kinda like going to the bus or something. Okay, off at 5. Oh, okay. Wow, 5 p.m. and it's 8. There's a lot of time in there. But thank you so much everybody for being here. We just started. I'm just starting to stream right now. Let me know how you are doing. TF Mkara says you still remember me. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Thank you for the like, guys. Thank you for the like. And thank you for your continued support on the channel. So I'll be tuning in and out all day. Okay. Okay, yeah, yeah. I think it's pretty cool. I usually think like okay, but of course I know that we are living in a digital era. But I think no offense. Oh yeah, no offense, no problem. Okay, I was saying I think I used to think that like when you're at work, you're not allowed to have your phone all day. Yeah, but I know we are living in a digital era and people have to have their phones around. But thank you so much for being here, guys. Uh, Let me know how you all are doing. Thank you for the likes, guys. Okay, welcome to the live stream. Okay, of course, we start with like greetings, knowing where we are from and all of that. So, for those of you who are watching me for the first time, my name is Wamboy. I was born and raised in Kenya, and I'm a country girl. I'm on Chikweni. I'm on Chikweni. That's a good name. Hi, how are you doing? I'm on Chikweni. Okay, I have, of course, I have a bunch of questions, but of course, we're gonna um, you're gonna listen to them very soon. Not listen or whatever. Baraka Wanjiku. Poa sana, how are you doing? Zizi, you're so pretty. Thank you so much. And guys, I would appreciate if you all like the live stream. I'm doing great. How about you? I'm doing good. I'm doing good. Today I kind of mostly did laundry, so it's been a good day, I would say, and I'm doing good. I'm doing okay. Thank goodness. Yeah. Thank you for the likes, guys. Thank you for the likes. Um, Ooh, Kat, how are you doing all the way from? Is it Austria? Wamboi, yo, I like the pink today. Fits well, looks good. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. How are you doing? How is your day going? What are you all up to? One chickeni. Okay, forgot I like. Okay. Oh, thank you for the like. Thank you for the like. You know that's why I remind you because see, I just started streaming like we are just 5 minutes or 6 minutes in, so which means so that we can get some more people here. When you like, the algorithm pushes the video to more people. Right, your brain still works good. Okay, okay, yeah. Oh, of course, definitely. We always have questions here and little bit of like being playful here and there. You know, sometimes some serious questions, sometimes some silly ones. But I appreciate every one of you for always even contributing. I don't care if it's just saying hi or like you know, the little small talk. I think it helps. So thank you. So let's see which will be our first question. Of course, we will start slow here. Let's do a little bit of some stupid ones. Would you rather? uh, would you rather have to whisper everything or shout everything? Okay, let me type that. Uh, the complicated questions of yesterday was too much for. Oh, you were on the live stream yesterday. You would have said hi. You don't have to answer the questions. Okay. Yeah. Oh, so you are on the. You know, sometimes I'm like, if let's say somebody does not say hi, I don't get to know if they watched. But wow, that's good. That's good. Ah, no, no, better stay out of danger. Okay. Okay, let me see. Actually, let me see what were the questions yesterday because I don't think they were that. I don't think they were that complicated. Oh, unpopular opinion. Yeah, I see. I see. They were a little bit opinionated. Mm, okay. So, oh, what's the time in Austria right now? Here in Kenya is 3:32 p.m. Okay. Would you rather? Okay, of course we're gonna start with some silly ones. So at least at least you don't have to like feel like they're too much. Uh, would you rather? Conley says, "What are your thoughts on drinking Q chia water?" I don't know what is Q, but I have started. These days I'm taking chia seeds. Like, yeah, it could be in my water. It could be anyway. Actually, like right now, I have this smoothie here, and I think it's stunning. I just kind of like blended. I blended uh, almonds, chia seeds, bananas, avocado, what else? Milk. So and then I let it sit for a minute so that the chia seeds can expand. And then I'll down all of this and then drink a lot of water. So I think okay, I have not started seeing changes or like whatever, but I'll let you know. I'll let you know when maybe I feel like okay when I see what they're doing. But I think so far I've been taking it for like a week. Yeah. Okay. Kat says, what's the time? Okay, 2:34 p.m. Not much different to yours. Okay, okay. Oh, you are 1 hour behind. Would you have to whisper everything? Of course, we are starting with some daft ones. So, uh, rather, yes, rather would be. I like silence, so I would whisper or shut up. Also, you would prefer the shutting up. Okay. Yeah, me too. I think the whispering is better because the shouting, it just takes a lot of energy and you feel drained. You feel like, I feel like you feel out of place. You feel out of place. Okay, you know what? I would like to know to Kwan Mali. What do you think about chia seeds? My teachers also said always, Cut, you're behind. Ah, like a slow learner. Do you think you're a slow learner? Okay, do you think okay, tell me something you realize embarrassingly late. Uh about money. Okay. Let's start with the money part. Okay, welcome to the live stream, everyone. Let me know where you're watching me from. How are you doing? Tell me something you realize embarrassingly late about money. Oh, we will go. There's a bunch of them. There's something about money, something about people, something about your body, something about school, something about adulthood, something about family. But definitely, so something that I realized embarrassingly late about my, I think of the bottom line is with like all the questions that I normally ask here. I think I'm just 24 years old. I'm still learning. I'm still learning. But one thing that I've learned so far is like money is an energy. Okay. So I feel like money is an energy, and the moment you start getting money, I just feel like it keeps coming. So what I would say is like I realize money is an energy, and if you're poor, you continue to be poor. And if you start getting opportunities, the opportunities keep coming. I don't know how that works, but as I said, I think something that I've noticed about money is an energy. So admittedly, I am still so young, so I don't know if I don't know if I have like these huge assumptions about money or about this and that. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Kat says, I can nothing say about, oh, I can say nothing about money. Only I always have, only I always have less. And if you have some, if the inflation gets higher, much of that savings disappear. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think me too. One thing that I would say about money is like also I've always I've always I have never had like a huge sum of supply. Like I've never felt rich, I've never felt rich, but I have felt poor. So maybe that's something that I would say about money. I've never felt rich, but I've felt poor. uh but I would like to know how it feels like to be rich, or to have this huge sum of this huge sum amount of savings, like uh I would like to know that I have this huge money that is sitting somewhere, and in any case, if I have problems, I have a saving. But you know what? We work towards that every day. But I think money is an energy. Do you all agree with that? Newton Kibebe says, Bestie, do you know Nganya? Yes, I do. Yes, I do. I do. Yeah, I use that means of transport in Nairobi. Uber can get really expensive real quick. Okay. Next up, because we're doing some silly, daft questions here today. Uh, would you rather? Okay. Kat says, we were always poor here, but I never felt poor. Now, if I getting older and look outside, sometimes I feel poor. Okay, is it because like maybe you're now comparing yourself to other people? Maybe you're like, other people my age have accomplished this, and maybe you have not accomplished that. Is it the reason? Okay, honestly, right now I feel better right now. I think I've always felt poor, or known that I'm poor. uh, but I think from the time where like I joined university, I kind of had this hope that I can always be able to change my life. I can always be able to get better. So I think for me, the part where like at least I left for university, that's where I was like, I know I'm gonna become something. I'm not gonna die poor. Newton says, my aunt is a queen of good vibes in Nairobi. Okay, that's okay. That's okay. Okay. I would like to know, have you ever felt like you're rich? Okay. Will somebody ever feel like they are rich? Because don't get me wrong, I think I've touched good money sometime. uh Huge amounts maybe sometimes, but let's say I'm using the money to pay school fees, or I'm doing that. But I have never felt like, I have this huge amount that I'm keeping somewhere. Who best being rich? No, have you ever felt rich? I think that's the concern. Okay. Of course, we are doing some silly questions today because I can be deep, but also I have some serious one. But we're gonna look at them later on. But also, guys, you have the chance to like bring up random topics and you can talk about them. Okay. Would you rather have permanent hiccups or sneeze every time someone says your name? This is a really silly one. It's enough. You feel secure for tomorrow. Yeah. Knowing that like at least tomorrow, people always say, always worry about today, stop thinking about tomorrow, today is all you need. People like to say stuff like that. But let me tell you, especially in this world where like you don't have a home, you're renting, tomorrow you need to know how you're gonna pay your rent. Tomorrow you need to know how you're gonna buy food. But see, in my village, for example, I could survive without money because we own the land. We own the land. We own we farm, you know. So in my village or in the life that I grew up in, tomorrow is never a concern, okay? Because tomorrow, you know, you're secure, like you're secure in that way, but that doesn't stop you from feeling poor, I think. Tomorrow is a synonym for future, not only tomorrow. I know. For example, when we plant things in the village, yes, we are planting for tomorrow. At least tomorrow you can go and get some potatoes. But tomorrow does not mean tomorrow, you know. Like for example, sometimes we plant maize, huge acres of maize, okay, but we don't, maybe we don't even get to consume it uh, for at least a whole another year. So yeah, I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying. Okay, we're doing some silly questions, but of course I do have the deep one. So stick around, stick around. Would you rather have permanent hiccups or sneeze every time someone says your name? Uh, Kat says we have no garden in the city, so it's not similar. Yeah, I know. Like for example, here where I stay at right now, there's no garden. Okay, so which means you're buying everything. Okay, from food to products to everything. Okay, but I gotta tell you, sometimes sometimes this life where you're in the city, it feels richer than the one in the village. But I know in my heart that the one in the village is kind of more richer and secure, because you don't have to think about what do I eat. Okay, you do have to think about that. That's why you become a farmer. But basically all of that is sorted out. Would you rather have permanent hiccups or sneeze every time someone says your name? Sneeze, nobody says my name. Oh my. But I'm saying your name. So you could be sneezing right now. Hiccups, permanent hiccups. I think hiccups are annoying. Yeah, but when I go with sneeze every time someone says my name, is like on this channel, people call me my name every time. So I don't know. I think I would sneeze every 2 seconds. Not to mention, let's say even I'm not live streaming and somebody is watching my video thinking, oh, her name is Womboy, and then but I think I would always go with sneezing. I think hiccups can be annoying. I do I do think hiccups can be annoying. Was a wood question. I'm not under stress now. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Wow. How is everybody doing? Of course, I have some serious questions here, but uh, I wanted to keep it. What is it called? Easy today. Okay, let's do this. Is success mostly luck? Let me type on the screen with this one. JD. Oh, how you doing, JD? Good to see you. Oh, hey, one boy. Sometimes I sneeze, burp, and fart together at the same time. But you don't have hiccups, so you would go with the sneezing part. Ah! Oh my god. There was a question about fighting, but I thought, you know what, these questions, it can be a little bit controversial for some people, so I kind of skipped. But I wish I wrote that question about the fights. Ah. Oh my god, JD, hold it back. Sneeze, burp, and fart. But I think all of these have happened to most of us at some point. But sneeze, burp, and fart. Maybe sneeze and fart, but the burping. Ah, wow. That's really funny. That's really funny. Do you consider that a disease? Do you consider? I think I would be mostly afraid if I get into the habit of doing that, because then you're in public, you think you're just sneezing, and then whoa, what do you tell? What do you explain? How do you what just happened? How do you explain what just happened? It happens also while I'm pooping, puking, and peeing. You can do those things on the same. Okay, for women. Okay, can I don't know. Man, can men do those three things at the same time? For women, because I'm assuming. And I know this is getting gross. I'm assuming when you're sitting on the toilet seat as a lady, I think you can pee and poop and sweating and crying. Wow. Please don't go further, okay? He is about to tell us all his secrets. But how are you doing? Okay, we have a question right there. Is success mostly luck, in your opinion? Do you think success is mostly luck? Okay, I have seen people who are successful say that, like, it's hard work. They work their butts off. They wake up so early. You know. Okay. Edith Wanjara, how are you doing? Good to see you. Good to see you. How is it going? So they wake up mostly early, but I think people have connections. People have connections. Or let's say you're starting from a point of privilege. You're starting from a point of, like, you already have this, or like you have this foundation set by your parents, or you have some sort of support. So we gotta look at what are you starting at. Okay, I don't believe that is mostly luck. I think there's also so many other factors that leads up to success. So what do you all think? Okay, Kat. Okay, so the hiccups and sneezing at the same time is not a big deal. What's your topic today? What's my topic today? Is success mostly luck? That's what you're talking about right now. But of course, there's a bunch of questions, silly ones. But yeah, what do you think results to success? Real Time says success is mostly about skill. Not everyone is capable of succeeding. Woo! So it's skill. You don't think luck or connections have anything to do with succeeding or not succeeding. Kat says she's asking questions, but in reality she wants to get all our secrets. Somebody said yesterday that they believe that I'm here to sharpen my debating skills. Okay, spill the tea. At least we don't know each other in real life. Spill the tea, guys. Spill the tea. Not to mention, after I post this video, your comment is nowhere to be seen. Yeah. No, I do believe connections. The type of connections. Who do your parents know? Real Time say no. Most people are simply not of good enough quality to succeed. Okay, do you think you're of good enough quality to succeed? Do you think you're meant to succeed? Dingu Gideon, hi, how are you doing? Welcome to the live stream. Okay, I think there's people who work to become who they become. They work to get the success that they eventually get, but basically most people, they usually have like a type of support system in order to succeed. Maybe parents. That is not for me to judge. Gideon says you're from Kenya. I'm from Kenya. JD says you can work every you can work very hard long hours and not get rewarded. You have to make the right choices. Okay, yeah, because also they're working hard. You know, there's a difference. I think there's people who have told me here on the channel that there's a difference between working hard and working smart. Okay, if you work hard without making sure that you're working smart, maybe you don't get to succeed. But this is why I'm saying that I don't think luck results to all the success or failure, you know. Georges, how are you doing, Georges? Good to see you. Welcome back. How are you doing? I don't agree real time. If you don't can sell yourself for good money, how you would define successful? Actually, what's the definition of successful? Work smart all the way. Okay, because I've seen people who let me tell you okay, see, even the companies that we see, these companies that are very successful, they're the CEOs, the owners of this company, they're not the ones who do the hard work. There are people who are doing the hard work for them. You know, they are paying people because they have the money. They are paying people to do all the hard work, you know. But for them, without their brain, without their, and maybe they have a little bit of money, without that, the company cannot exist. Without the strategies that these people are giving, maybe the company cannot exist. But yes, I do believe the people who do the real work are not actually the ones who reap the fruits of the real work. Okay, people who are out there working the fields, those are the ones who are doing the real work. When it comes to building houses, okay, we just see who brings the money or the engineer who is instructing, but we don't get to see the people who are out there carrying the stones, you know, lifting the bricks, and all of those things. Work smart all the way. Smart, yes. We all slaves. Only a few on top are successful. I know. Especially being employed, working for somebody. All of this. There's somebody who is up there controlling us, and it's everybody. You could even be unemployed, but there's somebody. You know, whoever feeds you controls you. I think so. That maybe has something to do with it. Real time says no. Like I said, it is mostly a quality issue. 70% of the world have an IQ below 115. We can't expect everyone to succeed, okay? Okay, we can't expect everyone to succeed. Do you think you're worth succeeding? Because I think, and I would hope nobody wants to like fail. I don't think anyone wants to fail. It's just like we happen to fail, or maybe we happen not to succeed. Or we happen not to succeed with when we judge it from our own standards, or like, oh, I think I would have achieved this. Maybe at this age I would have become this. You know. Yeah, and I gotta say, I think failure and success depends on personal standards also. George says, people hate on me when I go to buy bread and newspapers in the morning, and I go back in the house while they are when they are running to work so that they cannot be late. Okay, what's the secret? And why are you going for bread and a newspaper in the morning? Oh, you're not running to work. So what's the secret? Is it having your own business? What is the secret? You know, real time says, of course everyone wants to be successful. The majority of people are simply not capable of it. Wow. Simply not capable of it. Okay, I hope I'm the chosen few that will succeed. Because I gotta tell you, I am just, you know, when you've already been poor, I think you have nothing to lose. You know, when you've already been poor, you have nothing to lose. Okay, like for example, for me, to be really honest, I think I've already been. I think I know how I have been to the lowest you can ever get. So honestly, from now, okay, or from the moment I started maybe building towards becoming better. I think I can only, it can only get better. I think, I can only improve. So if I know if you've what is it called, bottom is it rock bottom? If you've tested rock bottom, I don't think anything scares you. For me, I think I can only go up. I can only go higher. Real time says, of course, everyone wants to be successful. The majority of people are simply not capable of it. Okay. Eddie says, to have your business, having your business is a good thing. So you think that's something that would result to success? Yeah, to have your own business instead of getting employed. That's a good insight. How would you start your own business? What business would you do to succeed? Judge says, one boy, I told you I'm an investor. I work online. Okay, wow. Okay, tell us the secrets. Tell us where. Okay, but I see what you're saying. Kat says, if you ask rich people, they tell you the truth. IQ alone is will not be enough. You have to be smart. You need a bunch of luck at the right time, and a lot of trust in yourself, and not to shy risk. Yeah, especially the risking. First of all, like for example, with me, I am very I'm a type of person. I'm afraid of taking risks, because of spending most of my time not having. Is like whenever I have something, I see people risking with all the money that they've got, putting all the money that you've got into something that you really want to do, and not worrying. I'm not able to do that. I am not a risk taker. Maybe I will be when I think for me, I have to have something left so that I can take a risk. I'm not gonna have, let's say, I'm not going to have let's say 100,000 Kenya shillings or $1,000. I'm not going to have $1,000 and then invest all that money or take a risk with all that money. I just think oh, what are you gonna do? What if it fails? Yeah, so I see what you're saying. Yes, these people are people who are able to take risks. Kanatam says, you look gorgeous today. Thank you so much. How is Mauritiana? Real Time Intel says, someone being rich does not give them any authority in respect to this question. The data speak for itself. Okay. The data speaks for itself. Okay. I'm a janitor. I wipe toilets after people shit in them. Okay, but it's a good. It's a job. It's a job. It's a job. It's a job. Do you think success is mostly luck? Lucido Jolly, good afternoon, one boy. Good afternoon. How are you doing? Oh, you said good afternoon, beautiful. How are you doing? Real Time says, congratulations, what? Okay, I put my money where it can work for me. Okay. Wow. Thank you for that. Because people does not care. Yeah. Yeah, honestly, to be really honest, let me tell you, there's this place, whenever I'm traveling, whenever you're traveling for long hours, sometimes you gotta pee before you get home, okay? So there's this place that when I travel back and forth from where I stay at to my village or to my hometown, there's this place that they usually have public toilets, but you have to pay. So there's somebody who's sitting there, they're collecting the money. So they collect the money and they give you the tissues. Collect the money and then they give you the tissues. So there's this one lady, she's just usually staying there. She has all the tissues laid out and she has this little box where you have to put the money in there. So it's like, she does not even look the clients in the face. I don't know. I think she thinks people think that she's not all of that. And then in return, she treats herself that. And then in return, she treats the customers bad. Honestly, you usually dread when you feel like peeing and you are along the road and you have to go to her toilets. You just usually feel like, oh my God. But yeah, so I appreciate you, Maud. That's a good job. That's a good job right there. Okay, it's not a good job, but it's a job, Real time says yes, there are huge amounts of data that supports what I am saying. Modern IQ measurements are directly linked to real world competency and success. Okay. Yeah, maybe some of us were just not meant to be. Okay, but personally, let me tell you, I trust myself, and when I set myself to do something, I do trust in myself, because honestly, if it's not for trusting, I could have resorted that right now I could be somebody's wife with 10 children, to be really honest. But I think the whole trusting in yourself, it doesn't matter if people say that everything is proving that, like, okay, you have to have this, whatever. Sometimes I think luck is part of the success. I think so. Kanatam says, heck no, it's not a good job. I didn't waste my life studying and earn degrees to end up here. Oh, that was your point. That was your point. You have a degree and then you're doing that. Okay, I see you. And if you need some form of motivation or whatever, I'm also a graduate from university, but you gotta do what you gotta do. You can't sit, we cannot just sit here. We have bills to pay, we have families that depend on us, we have we are trying to start our own families ourselves, okay? So we can't just sit here and say, oh my god, I'm a graduate. We can't sit here and say that. We have to work, So I see you, and I feel your pain. I think there's also 1,000 other people who feel the same. Like I do feel the same. Okay. Judges, success is not waking up early. You need to know your clientele, and being polite when making money goes a long way. Okay. Goes a long way. You need to be polite. Wow. I see that. I can only, honestly, I feel good for myself because I think I trust myself so much, and even somebody who might ask, boy, why do you stream every day while you could be doing other things? Okay. Or maybe you could just be watching television, because honestly, I for example, when I'm doing this streaming at the moment, I do not make money from this streaming at the moment, but I'm working towards something. Okay, it doesn't matter if it's like, you just come here to have random conversation. Not to mention, I have people to talk to through the channel, like here back and forth. But I was just saying all of that to say these are the type of risks, because I'm investing my time, hoping for something to result. So I feel for people who we graduated together, and also even for myself. But I feel for those people who've not acknowledged that we can just sit here and be stuck with the fact that we have degrees, we are educated. I feel for those people who have not made peace with that, because personally I have, and that's why you see me doing random things. I am trying different things, but yeah, I think acceptance also in the future. Honestly, I want lecturers and people who are teaching, I want them to tell people the truth. Stop being in school and just being lost in the academics. Start something. Because if I started doing this YouTube while I was in school, maybe I wouldn't have been serious, because I'm in school. But let me tell you, it would be a big thing right now, okay? But better late than never, right? Kanatam says, I'm mostly doing it to save money and then migrate. Okay, where do you want to migrate to? Okay, yeah, personally, I also see myself migrating from this country. This country do not appreciate talents. Okay, they do not appreciate education. First of all, the other day I just saw an announcement that you will be able to run for political seats. We will be able to run for political seats without degrees. Okay, then what was the purpose of like having a whole generation, 2 or 3 generations? What was the purpose of getting these people educated just to say that you can learn to become a president without a university degree? I just think that's messed up. And maybe people without the degrees and education might say that's fair, but I don't think so. I think people need to have experience. People need to have become, have spent a particular amount of time committed to learning something, So that is also messed up. I don't think, I honestly, that was the final straw. And I was like, I don't think these countries appreciate the talents, you know. Real time says success may mean different things to different people. Okay, what does it mean to you? Sure, real. Okay. Our world is structured to give everyone false hope. Education has been watered down so that anyone can achieve a degree. Okay, and I don't want that. Okay, let them set. I don't care if they're going to say you have to have an A or you have to have a B. Let us have 100 people who become something. Only let us stop having 10,000 or 1 million people graduating. Let us have 10 people, but these 10 people, they are getting jobs in those fields. Okay, these 10 people get to become doctors, they get to become pilots, they get to become that. Okay, why do we have to keep changing the rules so that everybody can feel included, you know? So that's also messed up, because I would rather not be educated than be educated and feel like the system is taking us for granted, you know. Just look at the requirements for different countries in the world. They lower the standards for some to make sure everyone can feel special. Yeah, and that's why our education, you know, when you migrate, for example, to Western countries, but I think it's unfair when Africans migrate to Western countries, our degrees are not recognized in the Western world. So you have to go, maybe register, go back to school. You have to do that. Okay, but I think it's because people out here even pay for the degrees, and they know that the corruption, they know that, like, you pay. So see, what is the purpose of an education that you can't work in another place? You can graduate, but graduation is just papers. It depends on what you learned in school. How does equations in math help you in life? The emotional remix, how are you doing? Stormtrooper, how are you doing? Kat says no storm today. Okay. Real time says yes, only the best will succeed. We cannot alter nature. Only okay, what is that? There's a theory that says that, or is it survival for the fittest at this point? But let me ask you guys, do you think people should have university degrees to become presidents, to become members of parliaments, to become governors, to become senators? What do you all think? Because I think that's something, honestly, maybe because I have a degree, maybe that's why I want them to be asking for that requirement. But it's like, I just feel like they are adjusting that so that they can allow a particular group of people to run. Only partly cloudy today. Cass says, I would like to find a bad doctor with low education but degree. Okay, bad doctor with low education but degree. Yeah, it's very rare for doctors. I think for doctors, they make sure that the cutout is higher. But they need to do that. They need to do that with everyone, you know. If you're not in this club, what is needed? Who will carry you to get president? Come again, please. Okay. Do you guys think that you don't need a university degree to become a president, to become any of those? Not for the representative. Only the smartest people should be able to vote. You need a team. Okay. The truth is, what I think it's all fun and games to elect a president who is incompetent, somebody who's never gone to school. It's fun and games until they have to go and represent your country internationally, you know, until they are being made to sign contracts by random people, until they are made to, like, you know, take your country down. Okay, you need a team. Oh, you need a team to become president. Okay. Daddy KVC, how is Australia? Is it morning in Australia? Hard work beats. Oh, it's almost 11 p.m. I think. Hard work beats all, but for sure luck is required also. Okay. Do you think in Australia, if you work hard, you're going to succeed? Do you think the environment gives you guys the opportunity? Judge says the only thing that matters in life is how many times do you count your money, it feels good to see the total of your money, okay? I gotta say, whenever you have some money, or whenever you make some money, it just feels accomplished. You just feel, you feel so accomplished, okay? And that's one of the reasons, and I know this is just projecting, that's one of the reasons that I don't understand when people say that for a woman, you know, when a woman says that she only wants to be a stay-at-home mother and wife, that's the thing that I can't understand. Because for me, I feel nice whenever I make money solid with my own whenever I make money by directly through me, like let's say it's my craft or something that I'm doing, that feels so good. So that's why I never understand, because I think making money feels so good, or like being able to earn, okay, to calculate your total value. So that's why I've never understood the whole hype about like, I only want to become this and that. I only want to stay at home. I want to stay at home, but I want to make money while I stay at home. Real competent time in town says, if only competent people voted, who would not end up with incompetent leaders? Or we would not end up with incompetent leaders. Okay? And let me tell you, and unfortunately they are the majority, so they are going to vote. If you're giving the chance, initially it was harder because you had to present your certificate, so it was harder because you had to present your certificate. Right now, yeah, anybody can run, I think that's a very bad move, and I wish I was in a position of power, because, or I wish I was a member of parliament, because definitely that needs to be stopped. Real, would the competent leaders also care about the people who can't vote? Ooh, yeah. Wow, yeah, that's a good question. Would the competent leaders care about the people who can't vote, who are unfortunately incompetent? Yeah, I think everybody should have a right to vote. That's the truth. Everybody should have a right to vote, but of course, I think there should be rules to who can be able to govern us. Yeah, wow. So I think so far everybody's saying success is not luck. It's hard work, it's working smart, it's all of these things. Okay, which is really surprising. Okay, because it's surprising, but I know working smart, working hard is part of the deal. But I also know sometimes luck. Okay, and I don't believe so much in luck, but I believe in having the right people who connects you to the right opportunities, knowing the right people. I believe in knowing the right people. If a woman wants to stay at home, you should sweep her out together with the rubbish inside your house. Why? Why? What if there are men who just want to be providers? They just want to provide for their women, okay? They don't feel this need for their women to be out there struggling with work. They don't feel this need for their women to be out there. They want their women to be mothers, to stay at home, to nurture the house, to clean, all of these things, okay? And I think sometimes they are good things. Hmm. Let people decide. Okay. Personally, I think I would, let people decide for themselves. But personally, because of how I feel whenever I'm making something, like for example, I'm so proud of this channel, to be really honest. This is something that I've been working on, and seeing that, like, at least right now I have this belief that is taking off. I'm reaching people are interested in my conversation, people are getting to see my mindset, the conversations, so I think for me, I judge from a place of, for me it feels good when I'm building something of my own, okay? So and that's the part that I don't understand. How comes that some people are just satisfied to be their husband's shadow, okay? to be behind the scene, to be the person who just supports your husband as he becomes what he wants to become, you know. Because I just don't want to be somebody's shadow. I want to be one boy, you know. I want to be myself. Maybe I've never wanted, actually, to be really honest, um I've never wanted to be a housewife. I've never wanted to be a housewife, to be really honest. But I think it's because of the experiences that I saw, the women that I knew, the experiences that they went through as housewives. I think that's what kind of discouraged me from ever wanting to be a housewife. Okay, I believe men should provide. Okay, but I have no problem with me maybe working my ass off or whatever. Real Time says people in the West are noticing this as our countries become more diverse. The quality of people worldwide is not the same. Okay, what are they noticing? Okay, let me try to look at your other message. Okay, what are people in the Western world noticing? Judge says, no, boy. If a man doesn't want her woman to work, if a man doesn't want her woman to work, the man is insecure because he thinks strong men are out there. Oh, okay. So he doesn't want her to meet other people. He doesn't want her to have the opportunities. Okay. I don't 100% believe so. I don't 100% believe that a man who does not want his woman to work, because honestly, I know that there are women who are looking to becoming housewives. So I know that for sure. But I think this is maybe mostly people who grew up in secure homes. Mostly people who grew up in houses where like their fathers provided with no problem whatsoever. They lacked for nothing. But if you saw your mother being a housewife, and she never got to accomplish her dreams, she was always it was always like a begging, even for salt. You want salt, and then you have to tell somebody, oh, can you give me 10 shillings for salt? I think that's one of the most what is it called, embarrassing thing that you have to go through as a human, you know, having to tell somebody, oh, I want to cook and there's no salt. I think that's bad. Okay, and that's actually my motivation to not want to becoming a housewife, you know. Perilla, how are you doing? No, I'm not gonna play the song because I don't want copyright, but I'm gonna listen to the song later on. Real Time says the quality of our services is worse when more of the service providers are foreign. Oh, mm-hmm. Okay, okay. And also is that, yeah, and also it's like you have an education from your country, you're moving uh you're moving to another country, is, and they know the type of education you're getting. They know people have the capability of buying degrees. So, and then we get upset when okay, can you play Bloody No, I'm not playing songs. Flourish Family TV says hi. Catalonia Roniel says no. Is success mostly luck? What do you think success is? Oh, this is not the music box. Okay. It's like we are here for a conversation, you know. And first of all, because you're already on YouTube, you can just maybe leave here and go listen to that music, you know. Okay, but I'm trying not to be rude. Thank you, Kat. Real Time says, exactly, a degree in a third world country is not um, the same standard as ours. Therefore, we see more incompetency with them. Are you from first world? Okay, I thought you said you were from India the last time. Okay, honestly, right now, if I ever get my master's, I think getting my master's in this country is just a waste of time. And no hate towards the country or whatever, but I think if you want so that you can be able to work in other places, yeah, just maybe go to a place where like their education is recognized worldwide, because otherwise then there's going to be a problem, you know. Okay, what a housewife is like a carpet in the house. Ah, housewife. Okay, let's see. Let's say by the okay, I was gonna say by the show of your hands, but let me know. Let me know. Would you want to become? Would you want your woman to be a housewife? Real Time says, for example, they hire a lot of truck drivers from abroad, Indians and Africans. Now we are seeing more accidents with trucks and people getting hurt. Oh my god, I think you're just hating. 1993 Gemini. Success is from God or it can be from the devil. Ooh, expound on that. And are you a Gemini? No, I am British. Oh my, but the other day when I think it was Hadrian, this guy, okay, I think he's the one that said that you are Indian. Okay, I assumed you are. Okay. Yeah. What everyday invention what everyday invention would you happily live without? Let me type. It's not funny. They hire people from the countries to save money, and now our people are at risk on the roads. Okay. Wow. Okay. So you think people from African countries, people from people you think people from poor countries need to be trained again when they get to the country? Okay. Wow. No. But I told you once that my TV remote will be damaged by pressing. Okay, she need to get her life. The same with nursing. Our lives are in the hands of people who are not qualified. Wow. Yeah, but you know what, for example, if I move from this place, let's even say to Britain, okay, first of all, what I will be looking at is like the conversion rate. Okay, one pound is equals to 170 Kenya shillings, which means doesn't matter how much they pay me, it's like I know I can make that money, and when I come back and convert, it's good money. So I think, yeah, I think that's why there's cheap labor. Oh my god, what is wrong with people? Who should lead the relationship, men or women? Who should lead the relation? Oh my god, can you guys just stop? Or what is wrong with people, who should lead the relationship, men or women? I think men should lead the relationship, but doesn't mean you stifle the woman, does it? Real Time says yes, they should achieve our higher standard of education and training. Okay, but do you know by being able to hire cheap labor, it lowers the cost of living in a country. For example, in the US, okay, there are a lot of, let's say, quote unquote, illegal immigrants working on those farms, and because they got a scare, they don't know. Look at the cost of groceries in the US. Okay. Yes, they should. Okay. 1993 says men. Chibest Oroke, hi. Royson, your teeth are perfect white. Thank you so much from the UK. Stormtrooper says, who is smarter, men or women? I don't know. I think, okay, when it comes to strength, I think men are stronger, but when it comes to smartness, I think women can be as smart as men. So I think it's equal, in my opinion. Who is smarter, men or women? Yeah, for me that has never been a question, because I just think I think women can be as smarter as men are. Women can achieve the same things that men have achieved. Okay, we've seen women become even better than what men have become. Okay, uh, women smarter. If you're saying women are smarter, why do you think so? Real time says exactly. Removing money from our economy should not be allowed. If you work here, you must stay here. You must stay here. No, you must not stay there. Like right now, let me tell you, if I ever go to another place to work, I'm just going there for the money and then come live extravagant and rich out here. Who is 1933 Gemini says women are stronger. No, I think let's stop saying stuff to be politically correct. I think men are stronger physically. Men are supposed to be stronger, but when it comes to being smart, I think men and women are the same. Rayson says this girl talks sense. Okay, thank you. Men are stronger. 1993 Gemini says men physically and emotionally stronger, women smarter but not emotionally. Okay, but do you know why women are not strong emotionally? Because we have to go through the things we go through. Look at pregnancy, look at every other man having periods. So I don't think that women are weak emotionally. I think we just have things going on with us. We have changing hormones, while you guys, you don't have to deal with any of that. Okay, you're just okay for the rest of the month. Real time says it lowers the quality of living, which is more destructive than an increased in cost. Okay, so you are against immigrants in your country. Okay, you think immigrants in your countries will lower the the quality of life decreases. Okay, wow. I don't know if anyone else agrees. Some people says exactly. Okay, I think these days people are so sensitive. It's like you can't even say that men are stronger than women, but I think sometimes it's a matter of looking. A man is stronger than a woman. Okay, but that doesn't mean that he's smarter or he's better. We are just different. Okay. Three times says our countries function more like a charity for the rest of the world. Okay, and it's not necessarily a bad thing, because also I think you know what, I think the Western world, okay, but this is an unpopular word. Okay, so saying that, for example, the first world countries operate as charity for the rest of the world, but look at the resources that you guys are taking from third world. Okay, at least let us come to your countries and get our resources back. Because it's like, okay, you're coming, you're getting all the gold, you're getting all the oil, you're getting all of the things. At least let us come back and get our resources back. Stormtrooper says it's just how the hormones are in each gender. Women as mothers needs to be more emotional and need a nurturing personality. Our difference is what make men and women compatible. Yeah, and that's what, the reason why a man is useful to a woman is because of his strength. Okay, the strongness. Okay, the fact that he can do some of the things that will be harder for her to do. And then the reason the woman is important to the man is like he needs that. You need that feminine energy. You need whatever. Yeah. So I believe you, Stormtrooper. It's a bad thing for us. We don't benefit. Okay, Real Time is saying that immigration does not benefit first world countries at all. Okay, they do not get free labor, almost free. Okay, can you imagine, for example, for a job where like an American can only work for $20 per hour, an African person or a Mexican person can work that same job for, let's say, $10. Okay, and you guys are not benefiting in any way. What resources are we talking? Everything is paid for. The technology you have is from China. Are you going to give that back as well? No, but we are paying them. Okay, we are paying them. It's a loan, it's a debt. It's not free. They must be paid minimum wage just like everyone else. Okay, what do you all think? Do you think immigration lowers the qualities of life? Actually, let me write here. Do you think immigration lowers quality of life? But I mean in first world countries. The comment couldn't fit, all of it could not fit in here. Okay, let's go with that one. Okay, the one Navy says hello. How are you doing? Where are you watching? Keep telling me where you're watching me from. Real time says what resources do we not pay for? Okay, for example, you want us to go back to colonial times. Okay, you want us to go back to like all the resources that have been taken away from West Africa to France. Okay, you want us to not look at the fact that like this country, for example, French still controls okay, not West Africa, but most of these resources. You know, you want us to ignore the fact that most African presidents are puppets of the West. Stormtrooper says, I think we need more immigrants in South Africa. Ooh, okay. Okay, but South Africa is not a first world country. Do you think immigration lowers quality of life in first world country? That's the question. Uh, that one Navy says, hey, I'm new here. What's your name? My name is Womboy. Okay, the name of the channel. I know it might be hard to pronounce. The name of the channel is my name. Okay, real time says, so you can't name a resource that we are talking about and not paying for. You know, there's lots of resources that have been taken. You're talking about oil reserves, okay? We're talking about, you know, there's so many resources that have been taken away, okay? We are talking about coffee and tea that's never processed when it's over here. Those are the things that I think we are talking about. That's what Navy says. One boy, right? Oh, okay. Where are you watching me from? Edward. Hey, how are you doing? I'm good. How is it going? Okay. Do you think immigration lowers quality of life in first world countries? And I think this question is more answerable by people from first world countries. Because I don't think so, okay? I feel like most people are stuck with the fact that, like, you just don't want other people to benefit. I think that's the problem. It's like if you don't want other people to benefit, yes, you will have a problem if they are benefiting. Okay. And as far as they're not taking your job, they're not taking your job. You know? If you're not happy with your trade laws, then you can vote in a different leader who will demand a better price. Okay. And I think that's a real one. That's a real one. I can give you that one. A real time says build the means to process it in your own country. It will be cheaper for us. We won't complain. Okay, and I gotta say, as far as we want to blame the West for everything that happens here, we have some pretty bad leaders who are just out for their own stomachs. So yes, we have a couple of people that, but I think that this is because we keep voting people who are not quality, Yeah, but we can't ignore the fact that also the West have benefited from Africa having bad leaders. The West have benefited from Africa and maybe even Asian countries, and they have benefited from the naivety of these places, Yes, we can agree on that. Yeah, and me, I'll always stand for the truth. But we can't sit here and say as if the West have not taken advantage of African countries. Stormtrooper says, can't we join and call it United States of Africa? Okay, do you think Africa will ever unite? That's actually a real question. Do you think Africa will ever unite? I don't think so. Okay, these are the day that we were here, and I said there's so many factors that goes into Africa uniting. Okay, you have to understand that Africa can unite, but the leaders cannot allow that to happen because at the moment we have how many countries? Is it 57 countries? Okay, so we have 57 presidents. Okay, and if that, not to mention ministers for the ones who have prime minister. So if we were going to remove to say that you be united, then we have one president. Can you imagine all these presidents have lost their positions, and because of their own ego, they would never allow that to happen. Okay, not to mention the political seats, the members of parliament everywhere. Not to mention it would be very difficult to run Africa as one. We already have a lot of tribal feuds and within the countries. For example, here in Kenya, we have like 47 tribes and we have tribal whatever, there's lots of things going on. So I don't think that can happen. Do you all think that can happen? Sagada says, yeah. Okay. Real time says we are talking about today though. It is difficult to say we are taking advantage today when we give so much. Yeah. I gotta agree on that one. Yes, today the truth is, today even the things that are being taken away from Africa, they are being taken away with the leaders' consent. Okay, the leaders are going, they're making deals with all of these people, so the things are happening with the leaders' consent. So that is that. Okay. What is the question? Do you think immigration lowers quality of life? Okay. I think I also had another question here. What everyday invention would you happily live without? Isaka Musa. How are you doing? What everyday invention would you happily live without? Didn't the Kenyans kick out the British immigrants who were making the country better? Okay, are you trying to be triggering or what? Okay, no, you can't try to make a country better by making people slaves in their own country. Okay, can you imagine the level of audacity that takes? Can you imagine? Actually, let's talk about this. Can you imagine the level of audacity it takes to go to somebody's home, befriend yourself there, okay, and then they invite you to your home, and then you stay there for a few days trying to be friends, and then all of a sudden you stop bossing them and you start bossing them around in their own house. Can you imagine the level of audacity it takes to do that? Please don't even get me started on that one. Okay, you start bossing. Oh, please make tea for me. Let's say the first time you say, please make tea for me, they do it, and then over the time they just start believing that like they should do things for you in their own home. Okay, in their own home. It's just not right. We didn't keep anyone. So we were the people who ended the slavery and educated people against it. Okay. You know what? I don't have time to argue. Not the lie that they teach, but that's just the reality. Okay, you can't go to somebody's home. You can't go to somebody's home and then start bossing them around. No, that's not acceptable. Even if you are trying to make their life better, doesn't matter if they live like fools. There's nothing that can guarantee that. There's nothing that can make that better, even for a single no. Okay. Okay. Uh, what everyday invention would you happily live without? Everyday invention you would happily live without. Sometimes I think they're fun, but I also think, oh, can you imagine a world without phones? So sometimes I'm like, I think you could live without a phone, right? And just live life. Right now I just realize it's very hard to like uh, experience life because, for example, when you go to a good place, when you go to a good restaurant, uh, the first thing is you really want to take the picture of the food. You can't even eat the food, okay? Something is happening, okay? You get promoted. The first thing we want to do is to record and post that. Uh, you get pregnant. The first thing you want is to tell people. I feel like phones take away from our human experience. We having this pressure to record our experiences instead of living life. We are recording life, I think. uh Kanatam says 40 dimes. Oh, it was just a whole thing of like real time says that he thinks immigrants from third world countries moving to first world countries is not a good thing for the first world countries. He do think that that lowers the quality of life for the people in the first world countries. So I think that's what you mean. It seems like a lot of these rules are only applied to us. No, I don't think so. I don't think so. No, if you wouldn't move to somebody's house, that would not happen, right? Okay, and actually, guess we are winding down. Let me know, what everyday invention would you happily live without? And those of you who are just joining into the live stream, my name is Wamboy. Thank you so much for being here. Also, thank you for catching up with my videos. Yeah, no, we just come on here every day to have uncomfortable conversations. I think every day is we have an opportunity to learn, an opportunity to maybe talk about it. I mean, you just created a lie about my people owning slaves there when they were providing jobs and education and healthcare to the people. Providing jobs? Can you even hear yourself? You know what? Yeah, okay. Okay, first of all, okay, the other day actually you said that you married up. Okay, you married somebody who is better and from a better country. Okay, so I don't even know what you're talking about. I think all of this, you're just making all of this up. They didn't force anyone. People lined up for jobs and healthcare. Okay, okay, you just say what you want to say. Wow. Okay, okay, Lord, I think you think typing a lot of things makes this right, okay? There's nothing that will ever justify colonization, nothing will ever justify the slavery, nothing will ever justify all the Africans that were carried from West Africa to these places. So I don't care. You can keep typing, but nothing will ever justify that, okay? So if you want people to sit here and clap that it happened, it's not gonna happen. You want people to sit here and clap that colonization happened. Okay, you want us to sit here and clap because there were Africans who were taken away forcefully from Africa. Okay, so that's not gonna happen. I think how we can move forward, is by owning up. This happened. I can't sit here and keep blaming every white person that I see because colonization happened, because slavery happened. No, I cannot do that. But then at the same time, you can't sit here and manipulate people into like, oh, that never happened, as if you were there also. Read your history books. Sadar, how are you doing, Sadar? Okay, good to see you. Welcome to the live stream. MC1980 says hello. Good to see you. uh Sadas, I think I would live okay without smartphone. I've tried it for a while, but the thing is, the smartphone is still needed for emergencies. Internet, yeah. See, I said internet, to be really honest to that question. I said no, I didn't say internet. I said the phone. I see, because I feel like the phone is taking away from the human experience. Okay, every 2 minutes we want to post, we want to take pictures. Okay, so we forget to live, but on the other hand, can you see what the phone is right now? Okay, you can access your finances through your phone. Okay, you can be able to communicate with people from different parts of the world through the phone. So I think also I would live happily without a phone, but I would feel like I'm missing out if I don't have a phone. uh the random calls from friends, you know so maybe that's being off the grid, but I don't think it's my thing. I think because of knowing, because I know what the internet is like and what the phone can do, I can't imagine a life without maybe access to a phone. Yeah. Okay. Also, for those of you who are just joining in, there was literally something that we are talking about here, that people feel like people migrating from third world countries to first world countries lower the quality of life in the first world countries. Let me know what you think about that. And actually, we are is it when winding down? Okay, but good to see everybody. Give me an advice to approach him, and every time I try to talk one, I start stuttering and sweating. I don't think I'm the best person to that. I don't know. Maybe maybe the men can tell you how to do that. For example, in uni, once the teacher gave us a material to learn, and she asked everyone to take pics from smartphone, and I didn't have. Wow. Okay, yeah, I think a smartphone in university was kind of like a basic one. Then how to approach men? How to approach men? I, I do not approach men, so I wouldn't give advice on how to approach women. Neither would I give advice on how to approach men, because I have no idea. I have no idea. Maybe I can say how to act when you're approached, but I don't know if I can give any advice. Sada says, and that was one of those rare moments when teachers were upset for not having a smartphone. Okay, definitely. I can see that. I can see that. Yeah, 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 yeah. You had to have one. You had to have one. Godson, how are you doing? Good to see you. Hello, boy. How have you been? I've been nice. I've been nice and fine. How have you been? How is the going? Natasha Njoroge, hi. Good to see you. Why, you two suck at dating? Yes, I do. Yes, not to mention that, not to mention, like, when you're in a relationship and you're not out there being approached or approaching, so you can't have advice when it comes to that. Maybe people who are in the dating pool can advise you, but I don't think I can. Okay, so there's something here. Do you think immigration lowers quality of life for people in first world countries? Okay, there was somebody said here that, like, people from third world countries moving to first world countries lowers the quality of life in the first world countries. How true is that information? Okay, and actually, we are winding down. Let me know how you are doing. So let's see. So this will be our last one. What is the most overrated tourist attraction, in your opinion? what's the most overrated tourist attraction in your opinion? Okay, I think I don't know, like people coming out here to see the elephants, you know, a safari, you know, safari. Honestly, I have never understood why people are interested in seeing like wild animals, cows. Okay, but I know it's because maybe most of these people is like you have lived like a city life, and it's like you want to see the wild animals. But honestly, I have never understood. I have never understood why the wild animals are so important. Okay, they're important. Don't get me wrong, but like traveling, especially from one continent to another to see that, I think that's a little bit overrated. My opinion. God is in Kutu says hello and good morning from Texas. Good morning to you. Good to see you. Well, I was gonna say, what's the time in Texas? Okay. Godson blessed says I have God is in control in the chat and I have Godson. Ish, I'm blessed. That's just racism talking, but I believe that we should make our countries better for our own citizens so they won't be so desperate to leave. Yeah, yeah. Yes, so that you don't feel like you have to go someplace. Um, which is honestly really bad. I think we can make opportunities, but I think it would start with our leaders, okay? Because if the citizens are working towards making sure that we have better lives in our own countries, okay, but the government is dragging us behind, you're starting a business, but it's not picking up because people do not have money in their pockets. So I think that's a problem, okay? Let me know if you're from first world country. Do you think immigration lowers the quality of life for people in first world countries? Okay. Sadar says, in my opinion, visiting capital cities should be overrated. I mean, it's understandable that capital is the center of a country, but capital doesn't represent the whole country. Okay. And honestly, I also kind of like agree with you. Growing up, if you didn't grow up in the capital or if you've never visited the capital, you're seeing it like, what would you call that? We say mshamba in Swahili, but it's like a villager, like a, you know, yeah, like a villager or like somebody who's behind, you know. But the thing is, I have been to Nairobi and I don't see the quality of life there. Okay, I can see why people stay there because there's lots of people, you can start businesses and the businesses can take off. But mostly you are gonna spend all the money in that place. Okay, so yeah, I think the capital cities or big cities are overrated. I think God is in quotations. Like if you migrate to a country, you need to assimilate, adopt the culture and language. Here, a lot of from the Middle East do not, especially Islam. Such a Dearborn, Michigan, USA. On YouTube. Yeah. Also, I do believe if I move to the US or I move to Britain, okay, and I speak in English, even though that's not my first language, I need to learn. Okay, you can't be in a place. I've seen people who've moved to places and then they're like, let's say they have been arrested and then they just say that they don't speak the language. It's like, this is the place that is giving you opportunity. So I see you should maybe assimilate and at least try to appreciate the language, the culture. So I see that. But do you think it lowers the quality of life? Do you think having immigrants lowers the quality of life? Godson says we need to force all of those investors who are making money from our resources to pay more in wages and taxes. We need to force our people to let their children become literate. Yeah, yeah. Also, when it comes to, let me tell you, I think they're already collecting a lot of taxes from the imports, from everything. But this money is being collected, but is ending up in people's pockets. And that's the problem. That's the real problem. Maweu Dunge. Hi, how are you doing, Maweu? Good to see you. So that says, when I was a kid, I liked the city because part of my childhood I stayed a little in the city and played with my cousins. But once I went to uni, I started to get bored of the capital. Okay, I think growing up as a village girl, or of course as a country girl, there was just that part of me that wanted to move to a city so bad. Okay, I would give up anything at that moment to move to the city. But I think that was from like feeling like we are poor because we are in the village. Okay, I felt like we are poor because we are not in the city. I felt like if my parents moved to the city, that our life would have been better. But now I don't think so. Okay, I think you can create opportunities wherever you are. And I think I think we would have had a better life in the village anyway. Because I went every day, okay. Oh, and then you start to see the realities. You start to see the trash on the roads. You start to see the sewage. You know, you start to see all of these things. God is in control. Says yes, it lowers the quality of life, especially if they don't respect rules like throwing away trash and cleanliness. Wow, okay. You're not sugarcoating. You're telling us the truth. You're not sugarcoating. Wow. Okay. But see, this is what I've always said, okay? I think the whole thing about throwing away trash. For example, you'll go out here and you're buying street food, okay? And then you'll be like, where is your trash? And then they're like, just throw it down there. I have this thing in me that feels like I cannot. I would rather come back with my trash here and throw it in my bin, you know? But I think that's something that we've learned as Africans. Like, oh, let me talk about Kenyans. We can just throw trash anywhere, okay? Go to Nairobi, go to these places, and people are living there. There's trash, there's sewage, there's everything. Honestly, that's why I prefer the village, to be really honest. Yeah, but for example, where I stay at, this building is one of the cleanest places that I've ever been in this country, to be really honest. Yeah, people put the trash at the right place and all of that, you know. But okay, Free the World says, I think it depends what the circumstances are. Okay, which country are you from, Free the World? But there's a lot of immigrants from Middle East and Africa who live this country and respect, okay? Because it says, you are right, corruption needs to be punishable by hard prison labor as well. Yeah, at least 5 years. If you're caught doing corruption, 5 years in jail at least, okay? Because of course but I know this will never happen, okay? Because we keep electing people who are just out for themselves, you know. Sada says, I used to think, wow, the city we go to the capital. Now I'm like, whatever, it's boring, okay? Yeah, I see the opportunities, but they're just not all of that, you know. You can have I think you can have a good life in the village. You just need to create it. The thing is, in the village we get so comfortable. I think in the village we get so comfortable living bare minimum life. We don't want to get better. I think we settle. I think we settle in the village. That's what we do. We settle. Okay, we get content with not having. Okay, we get content with not eating a balanced diet. Okay, we stop wanting to keep going. God, okay, I think I read that. There's good and bad in every culture. I don't like the world race because we are the human race. We bleed red, we breathe oxygen, okay? Free the World says, in America, Mexicans were all throughout the country first and was considered immigrants. Okay, good to see you, and I agree. I feel all groups should share traits and genes somewhere. Okay, but what do you think? Do you think, okay, you say it depends with the circumstances. You say it depends with the circumstances, but do you think immigration lowers quality of life? Okay, God is in control says, it's good when a society knows what maintaining is, repairing roads, electrical grid, infrastructure and so on. Certain cultures do not practice this. Keeping your country clean and safe is a must. Yeah, and see, I think we and this is where the problem comes in, I think so, okay? We make our country so toxic, okay, by all of this trash that we have, all of these things that we have going on, and then we make it unlivable, and then now we want to move to other people's places. You see, I can see, honestly, I can see why we are not treated right in other places, because you tore your country apart. You make your home so unsafe, so uh toxic, you know, you don't clean your home, it's smelly, there's trash everywhere, and then you feel bad when like people are saying no, you can't come to my house and trash it. Okay, there's a time there's a time that I, you know, me personally, I have to tell you my real stories. Okay, there's a time that I hosted somebody. Okay, and when I hosted them, it's like my place. Okay, and I'm not saying that I'm a clean person. I am not very clean. Okay, but everything is usually at its place. Okay, oh, let's say I can decide today I'm not cleaning, but definitely I'm going to be cleaning tomorrow. Okay, so the place was very put together when she moved in. Okay, but within no time, she trashed the place. Okay, she was removing. Her clothes were everywhere. It is just like, how do you tell somebody to pick up after themselves? You know, how do you tell somebody to do that? So I can see that. And it's like you had this safe space. This was your place where like you come home when you have to run away from the rest of the world, and then it has been trashed. Now you can't even fathom staying in there. Okay, but also there's a time also, uh, my friend and I, we were a lot of us. Okay, we were hosted somewhere. Okay, and then one of my me personally, I'll keep it respectful. When I get hosted, my things stay in my bag. Okay, I will dress from my bag. You know, like how you move to a place but you never remove all your clothes. So it's like I will dress from the bag. Okay, but I just realized not everybody is like that, because you get people who are very, very comfortable with trashing other people's faces. But I know it's not the same scenario, but it's almost similar. Edith Wanjera, hi. Free the World says, I admire village life. Okay, you do. God is in control, says, but there are good immigrants who contribute to society and make it better from Middle East and Africa as well, like respecting our country or culture. Okay, and I pick up trash. You pick up trash. Okay, maybe that's something I need to start doing, because to be really honest, I don't pick up other people's trash. I will pick mine, but I'll walk past a paper. You know, I will not pick it up because I think somebody else dropped it there. Maybe we can become better by also starting to pick up the trash for other people. Uh, are you African American immigrant though? No, I am. Okay. Oh, I think you're. Oh, knowledge. Ori City says, I'm an American immigrant in Kenya. No, immigration brings growth. Oh, you're American immigrant in Kenya. Okay. And you think you guys bring growth to Kenya, okay? Mm-hmm. But why is it that like when it comes to people from first world countries moving to third world countries, that's growth, but when it comes to people from third world moving to first world, that's going behind, you know? God is inconsistent. Well, I love talking about real facts like this. Me and my wife do a lot. She knows how Africa is with corruption and politics, and she knows I know it, but doesn't deter me from going. I still love Uganda, okay? Tuefika says, oh, how are you doing, Tuefika? Good to see you. Yeah, hi. Welcome to the live stream. Free the World says, actually, we do have a question. Do you think immigration lowers quality of life for the first world countries? Okay, God is in control. Says, respecting is a big thing, like the World Cup here. One of the stadiums after a football match, all the Japanese cleaned up after themselves. Everyone loved it. That's cultural. Okay. Knowledge or it says, haha, I'm a black American trying to find my roots in Kenya. Okay. So you think immigration makes, but do you feel the same about people who have immigrated to the US? Do you feel the same? Do you feel like they make the quality of life better out there? Hey, you got two homes for real? No, I don't have. Oh, you're talking to knowledge or Risity. Okay. I am one boy. Hey, are you okay? Yes, I am. I am good. I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. Are you so old? Yes, I am. Oh, I have no time for your nonsense. Knowledge or research says, I don't see it like that. There is a lot of Africans in America that bring growth, the ones who choose not to do anything that's like anybody else. Okay, as an American immigrant in Kenya, what are some of the things that you don't like about Kenya? Okay, not you don't like. What are some of the things that you think would use some type of improvement? What are some of the behaviors, maybe? Okay. Uh, Free the World says, I'm European American and I grew up in North Carolina. Oh, you mean North Carolina? And seen the beauty from African culture from my family and amigos. Okay. So, European American. Okay. So for you, you appreciate the whole thing. I don't think there is anything bad about immigration. Like God is in control said, there is a problem when you don't respect other people's culture. Preach free, okay? Yeah, and actually we are literally finishing. I don't know why is it that like whenever we are almost done with the live stream, the real conversations comes up, but I think that's part of the thing, you know. God is in process, then have you'll have them riding on the welfare on free handouts. It's different in the quality of life in that city. Okay, wow. Oh, I think there's a comment that you typed that didn't come through because this seems like it started in the middle. Yeah, hid your comment. I thought so. I thought so. Maybe, can you maybe reflect? Although the other one came through, I don't know what you said on the other one. No, this is just the government helping his people and other nations taking advantage. Okay. I see that. Okay, so you think maybe the government should improve how they treat their people? Yeah, yeah, I see that. I think, in my opinion as a Kenyan, or like things that I think the leaders need to be more accountable. They need to appreciate this citizens. You know, it's like we put you there. We put you there. Maybe there needs to be systems that are able to control corruption, that are able to control, um, things like trash, small things like that, you know. I say the difference of 10 American engineers going to Africa is different than 10 uneducated villagers. Is vastly different in quality of life. Oh, the difference, 10 American engineers going to Africa is different than 10 uneducated villagers. Is okay. Wow. And what is the difference? You know, the uneducated villagers will come out there and do the job that you guys are not willing to take for an amount of money that you guys are not willing to take. Infrastructure. Ooh. For the poor, not just for the ones who have it. Yeah. For example, in Nairobi, when you look at Nairobi, you'll realize very quick for the rich neighborhoods, yes, they have it all going on, okay? But go to the neighborhoods, go to Kayole, okay? Go to Pipeline, where there's like this huge mass of sewage in between the houses. You know, so yeah, but that's a problem out here. Like where the rich reside, those places are almost like heaven. Where the rich people reside, these places are very developed. They have electricity, they have nice roads, they have good water. Actually, these leaders, when you elect a leader from your area, you know that your area will develop because they will bring development near their own house. Okay. God is in control says, my wife agrees because you have Chinese, American or European doctors that go to Africa and the level of qualifications make a difference. Like my wife went to school 3 years in Uganda, then she went to Europe and had to do school all over again because of the education system. And that's the fact. Actually, you know what? Before you guys joined in, I said in this live stream that, like, if I'll ever get a master's degree, I just don't want to do it out here, because I think if I ever want to work anywhere else internationally, I feel like it's a waste of time, because the education will not be recognized in the Western world, which is really unfair. But what is causing the education to not be recognized in the Western world? Because the fact that people can buy degrees out here, there's a lot of examination irregularity. Knowledge says, I can live with the rich, but decided to live with the working poor. Not fair. American poor and African poor are two different type of poor. At least we have a flaw. There's no flaw in Africa. No, but not everybody. Let's not spread misinformation. Not everybody, not every place. For example, in my village, most people, we do not have flaws. Okay, there's flaw, but it's a dirt flaw. Okay, but for some people, there's flaws. Okay, but when you go deep in the village, there's that flaw. Okay, so yes, American poor and African poor is two different things. I was laughing the other day when somebody joined in here and they said, oh, I've not always done well in life. But I've also heard it from several other Americans saying, oh, at the time I was going through something really serious in my life. I was homeless at the time, okay? And I'm not kind of like taking away from the homelessness. I was homeless at the time, living in my car, okay? But see, you realize that is some form of privilege. Okay, because when we are homeless out here, we do not live in our cars. Okay, so yes, American poor and African poor are two different things. You are a real one. Knowledge oricity. Okay. Thank you, Free. What do you think about Haiti? I don't have an opinion, but maybe I would like to hear you guys. Oh, I talk about economic flaw. Okay, economic flaw. Okay, I was thinking about that flaws. I'm like, not literal. Okay. Hypothetically. God is in context. It's a whole other world in Africa than the USA. Vast different. But then ask, why is it like that in Africa? Well, part of the issue is high up corruption. The leaders don't help the poor hardly. Okay, but also I think there's also another problem. Okay, we want to sit here and blame the leaders for everything. Okay, but also I think for Africa for us to become better in everything, I think it has to start at the individual level. Okay, we say that the government is not helping us as the poor people. They are not making effort to make us better. While we are out here, and I'm not against children, okay, but when we are out here, you're having 20 children, one person. What do you expect? Do you expect the government will come and hand feed the children that you decided to create? Okay, so as far as, yes, because it's all about accountability, as far as we're gonna sit here and talk about the government, let's also talk about how we contribute to this problem as individuals. Okay, I don't think these leaders are out here throwing trash everywhere. No, they are not. The people, us as the people, as the citizens, we are the ones who are doing that. Okay, so the government people are not out here. They are not the fathers or the mothers of the children that we have at home that we need help with. Okay, because if they were, they could take care of the children because it's their children. Yes, so we have to take accountability of how we contribute to the how we contribute to the poverty. But I think that's just my opinion. I think people think that I'm pretty rude for saying that, but I think, for example, in my case, how I grew up or how we grew up in my village, I think, and I know my mom usually watches my video. But anyway, I'm gonna say it anyway. Okay, I feel like most of the problems that we've had growing up also had something to, yeah. So I feel like the problems that we've had over the years also have something to do with them. Okay, the decisions that they were making, not to mention even the number of children when you cannot provide. Okay, and I say that and like maybe it's seen as rude, but I think that's a truth that people are not willing to admit. Yes, so I do not blame the government for the poverty that we've had over the years. Okay, So I do not blame the I blame the government for like maybe not the opportunities, but like no, the government did not come there and say let there be 10 children here. No, it's a blessing to live. I think you meant it's a blessing to live here. I know it, and thank God. But it's nice to see other people migrate here who want to contribute and experience high quality of life. Okay, knowledge says I feel love here. I feel anxiety and endangered in America. Wow, interesting. I feel safe here despite rolling blackouts and watching others dealing with water insecurity. Okay, but I gotta say that it's pretty much safe out here. Like it feels like home, in my opinion. It feels like home. Yes, we have all of these problems, but it feels like home. God is in control. Says yes, it does. Has to be a cultural change of the way of life. Like no babies before marriage with no educative plan or goal. Okay, even in the marriage, funny enough, very large people have children out of wedlock here. Okay, but yes, there is a number of there's a lot of children even in these marriages. Okay, I don't think getting married guarantees you to like having 30 children. I don't think you're able to afford that. If you're not able to afford that, doesn't matter if you're married or not, because most people here who have lots of children are literally they are married. They live with their significant other. So yeah, as far as we want to say that, like, okay, and I know there are lots of single parents and all of that, but I don't think that's the real problem. The real problem is like overestimating ourselves and what we can be able to handle. Maybe knowledge is yes, education. The government must make education attainable for all its citizens. The only way the country will grow. This is how America grow. Okay, but let me tell you, there's lots of Kenyans and there's lots of Africans who are educated, but you know the governments need to create opportunities. If you educate people with no opportunities, then what was the purpose of the education? Free the World says Haiti got independence fast and beat foreign empires and built castles and made news and army jobs. Ooh, so that's okay. I don't have opinions on Haiti, but that's good to know. Yeah, not mean at all, one boy. The truth is brutal, but it needs to be said. Okay. Yeah, you know, because people expect you to like pamper when you're saying that. Okay. That's why I've always said, you know, when I say like, when people ask me why don't you want children, I say it's because I grew up poor and I know how it feels like to be poor. Okay. And as a matter of fact, and I know I feel. But I gotta say it even if my mom watches this, because I know she usually watches. But I gotta say it. I feel because I feel like when people ask me why don't you want children, and I say I grew up poor, so and I don't see the beauty. Okay, I see the beauty in children, but I don't see the beauty in having my own, right? But I also say it's like we were just a couple of us, and there was no, I don't think there was any positive. I think I'm a positive side, or I'm a positive result of maybe having children. But I don't think it's necessarily a good I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing, but I think there's misinformation, or like, oh, the Lord intended that to happen, you know. Doesn't matter if you have a plan or not. That needs to change, I think. Okay, free is the true knowledge. Thank you. Okay, God is in control says, and for safety, yes, I felt just as safe in Uganda as I did here in Texas. Only difference, I wasn't concealing carrying my pistol. Okay, wow. Knowledge says, you're right. The government should agree opportunities. God, I used to carry one on a hip and one in the boot. Okay, and now you don't. Okay, as an immigrant in Kenya, are you allowed to own a gun? Okay, I think they have pretty much lots of rules, even for the citizens. So, Free the World says, I fear for my loved ones in America. Where do you live? Do you live in America? Okay, and guys, we are coming to the end of the live stream. Hopefully, you guys, for those of you who have just seen me for the first time, you can come back 10 p.m. Kenyan time. Maybe we can continue this discussion and have many more. It feels good to know most of the citizens don't have guns. Yes, I've always said that the only people who have guns here is politicians, thugs. yeah, but mostly politicians. Most, yeah, like where I stay at, it's only a police officer that you're gonna see with a gun. Uh, only the boot, okay. Your European side coming out, my friend, free, okay. That sounds Jamaican. How free the world types. It sounds Jamaican, more Jamaican than anything. Okay, wow. You know, I like to think that like on this channel we are so random, talking about very random issues. But I am so glad that at least anybody who watches this gets to know, because we are not gonna be sugarcoating here, and I like that people are pretty much honest, and I like to think that like uh we are creating maybe a space or like a channel where we can express ourselves, say whatever we think. Okay, 5 more minutes and we are ending the live stream, guys. But yeah, be sure to pretty much, also in the night live stream we also do random topics. God is in consensus, and armed society is a safe society. I love being surrounded by armed citizens. Okay, I know you do. I know you do. You've talked about that before here. I know I'm not always right. I'm here to learn. Oh, okay. Okay, does it feel unsafe? Uh, okay, people say that like Africa is dangerous and unsafe. Do you feel unsafe when you're in Kenya? Do you feel unsafe? And how are you treated actually as an American? Or let's say even as a Black American? Kat says, ciao, Mboye, passed out again. Okay, see you another time. Thank you for tuning in. Actually, we are ending up there. We are winding down. My first few months I was scared without my gun. Okay, but pretty much it's like, yeah, I think it's a free world. Although as an American citizen or as a foreigner, you gotta be careful. People can take advantage, maybe overprice you or something. Free the world. What are you afraid of for your family here? Edenton, North Carolina, mostly African American and Mexican. Oh, that's where you live? Oh, in North Carolina, but I'm still very unsafe feeling certain long roads. Okay, just be trauma. Okay, I gotta say I watch a lot of crime shows and police chase. Okay, but I gotta say it's like, this one that I watched, it was in a mostly black neighborhood, and but they show whatever they want to show on these shows, but yeah, it makes you think you don't want to move in a black neighborhood. I don't know, what do you think? Having a gun is like having a condom or a feed. Oh, I think fire extinguisher, it's good to have just in case, is how we look at it here. Okay, better to have it and not need it than need it and not have it. Okay, yeah, need it and not have it. Yeah. I think also for those of you who are maybe you are from an African country and you're thinking, we have a video here where like we talked about that in depth. You can maybe go back. You know what I need to start doing after the live stream? I need to start writing the title of what we talked about, because I usually don't. We just got a convinced statue took down 2 years ago, and I agree, God is in control. Okay, knowledge says, I have a lot of American trauma as a Black American. I don't know who's gonna kill me. My own kind, or kind the kind woman bake cookies. I agree. Okay. As a Black American, were you living in Black neighborhoods? Okay, because I also think people have this assumption that Black people are unsafe. That's why the whole thing about Africa is unsafe is because Black people, we can be intimidating. When I just keep quiet, it's like I can be intimidating because maybe I'm not that good looking or whatever. But I know Black people, we can be intimidating, but that doesn't mean that we are. Although I think most people have taken the whole their misconceptions and made them their character or who they are. Or maybe to prove a point. Okay, they think that we are intimidating. Okay, they think we are bad people. Then we are gonna be exactly that. Well, my wife is black from Africa. She's never experienced any racial anger or discrimination. Okay. Yeah, maybe because you stand up for her or something. Because in no way, like, I think most people talk about the type of things that they go through out there, but wow. But it's good to be, even in a foreign place, it's good to be in a place where, like, you feel safe. I lived in mixed neighborhoods, got a lot of discrimination, assumptions, are harassed. Okay, so which one would you rather? Black neighborhood? Yeah, here, I mean in Europe she did, okay. Okay, so which one would you rather? Okay, let me wait for that response. Knowledge. I think we are ending the live stream, guys. Thank you so much. You can tune in at 10 p.m. Hopefully we can continue with the discussion and also talk about many more other things, you know. But thank you so much, guys, for tuning in. Okay, Knowledge, I'm waiting for you. Which neighborhood would you rather live in? Black only, or mixed, or, you know, there's this lady. I'll look for that video and I'm gonna play it in the next live stream, hopefully. There was this lady, she's black, and she was saying that she can never but she got a lot of attack. I don't know, she went viral saying that she can never live in a black neighborhood because she wants her children to learn better manners. She wants her children, but everybody was like, yes, that is self-hate and all of that. Oh, I think something cut me right here. No, this is black neighborhoods, depending on the neighborhood. Okay. Okay. Wow, that's it. That's interesting. That's interesting. But anyway, thank you so much, guys, for tuning in. Actually, I wish, before I end the live stream, I think the conversation usually become more and more what we want to talk about. But anyway, let me see if anyone is typing. We are ending the live stream. Thank you so much, guys, for always tuning in to the channel. Knowledge says, same with mixed and white neighborhoods. You can necessarily be in an all-white neighborhood as a black man and being in danger. Okay, I've been in that situation. Yeah, God. You know, why is and you gotta wonder, why is it that being black is such a, like, a bad thing? It's like a bad thing, you know. People are talking about when it comes to if you were to choose what you would be, and it's like, yes, I would still, honestly, even in the next life, I would still choose to be black. But I gotta say, there's so many problems to being black, or there's so many maybe consequences. Not to mention, you're black then African with your little poor accent. Oh my. Yes, it's horrible being around others from my experience, like grown white adults having an hating on a child because he's a troublemaker, and not to mention, these children, I have watched such, okay, these children are being called troublemakers just because of their color, not because they've done any crime, not because they've proven that they are bad people, just because of they look intimidating, you know. I gotta say, it's very hard to be black. But anyway, I think what we keep doing is, like, maybe keep putting ourselves in situations that are good. Oh, that's America. Okay. Yeah, but it's very unfortunate. I think when you're, okay, how do you feel being around lots of black people and not having to deal with that here in Kenya? It'd be the most innocent kids. Yeah, because they look intimidating. Let's say you have some locks, you let your afro go, you have your afro hair out. You know, also our afro hair can be intimidating. Or if you have your hair in locks, you know. I am American, a black American, and don't feel welcome in my country. Come to Africa, a place that I'm not even from, or no, and I feel more at home. You feel more but I think it's just because of the concept, like, you don't ever have to think about you being black. I think maybe that's where it stems from. Yeah, here in Africa, you don't ever have to think about you being black, actually. Actually, even me in real life, the only time that I think that I'm black is on this channel. When people mention it, oh, I like your blackness, or somebody maybe being uh, racist. But yeah, out here, the blackness, now when it comes down here, is like, which tribe are you from? So some other silly things. I think the blackness is never a factor. Yeah, I feel like every black person who is maybe in the Western world should at least experience, should, I think everybody, anyone who is black should at least experience a day in any African country, the blackness, you know. And I think you just get maybe a week or two without thinking about you being black, and you can focus on thinking about other things, you know. But that's where now the tribalism and other silly issues come in. But yeah, yeah, I think everybody in their lifetime, if you are in the Western world, um, you should come out here and maybe be around black people. Everybody black here, okay? Yeah, maybe if you go to touristic places like Mombasa, certain restaurants, that's where you're going to see the difference. But yeah, almost everyone is black. We can free the world. Okay, you want to come to Africa? Luo tribe adopted me. Oh, Luo tribe. Okay, that's good. I think most Black Americans would fit into the Luo or Luya. Yeah, but anyway, thank you so much, guys, for tuning in. If you saw me for the first time, you can subscribe, maybe, if you don't mind. But I'm gonna see you guys 10 p.m. Kenyan time. Convert that to your local time and see you then. See you then. Hopefully nobody's left out or typing or something. But yeah, thank you guys also for helping me to grow the channel. Hopefully we can be able to get lots of people in here, and we can be able to make changes with the conversations that we have. Okay, talking about it does not change anything, but I think it raises awareness of what we are going through as a society and as a people. Omani is my African name. Oh, Omani, what does that mean? I am Kikuyu, so I don't know what that means. Omani or Amani. Amani means peace in Swahili, but Omani, I don't know what Omani means. But anyway, I'm so happy that you get to enjoy to be in the country, born in the morning. Oh, it means born in the morning. Okay, hope you continue enjoying being out here. So do you see yourself going back to the US? This is a really good stream, and I love oh my, okay. Thank you, and thank you guys for even saying that it's a good stream. I think that's something. Okay, the last question, knowledge. Do you see yourself going back to the yes and no? Maybe you can go back for the opportunities, because to be really honest, yes, there's opportunity. You can go back to make the money and then come to spend it. I think Kenya is a nice place to come and spend your money if you're looking for a place to spend. But anyway, thank you so much, guys, for tuning in. Thank you for being part of the channel. I'm gonna see you all 10 p.m. Kenyan time. Bye. Enjoy yourselves. Okay, let me see if anyone is there. I usually feel this guilt if in any case I end the live stream without, I have passive investments, I don't have to go back, okay? But maybe you can go back for the family. But anyway, I'm so glad that you got to see my channel today. Free the Oasis, yes, was born at the dawn of a better time, okay? So thank you so much, everybody. I will see you all later on today. You can catch up with my other live streams. There's lots of things that we talk about in there. Maybe you can watch the videos from my village not lifestyle. I don't think I'm at the point where I have a lifestyle. But anyway, thank you, and I'm gonna see you guys later on tonight. Bye.